Hello and welcome again to Between the Sheets, the show where we take a look at the papers and inside them, the stories that are making us talk, but perhaps the ones that we really need to look at, whilst everything else around us goes completely mad. And today I'm joined by comedian Dave Chawner and also broadcaster and columnist Dawn Neesom. Welcome to you both.
Nice.
Let's start off with the organisation that should be looking for the next pandemic. But no, they're not. It's the World Health Organization. They want, according to the bosses, they want to ban half of women from drinking. They suggest no booze for anybody who is childbearing age. Dawn, what do you make of this?
Well, I'm sorted then. I'm out of that category.
Well, thank God the whole of the drinks industry is saved.
I know, yes, quite. Well, no, this is absolutely insane. No booze for women aged between 18 and 50.
I mean, like, whatever.
Wait, is this a mandate or is this sort of a...
Yeah, this is a proposal.
An advisal.
WHO's draft global alcohol action plan for 2022 is something to look forward to, girls. Appropriate attention should be given to the prevention of initiation of drinking among children, adolescents, prevention of drinking among pregnant women, and women of childbearing age, which narrows it down to 18 to 50.
Why is this organisation focusing on this rubbish? Who are they accountable to? Who's funding them?
Us, aren't they?
But yes, but this is another example.
The world.
Yeah, I know, but this is another example of an organisation that they call themselves the World Health Organization. They're probably funded by a whole load of Western countries, and there is no say-so as to who they are, what they're accountable to do, and then, by the way, we do have a global pandemic. This is when we need the World Health Organization. We send them off to go and find what it was. Oh, no, it wasn't here.
But maybe that's what it is. Maybe they need the alcohol to make alcohol hand gel.
Right, okay, so they can stop me drinking so they can make my gin intake into hand gel.
Yeah, exactly what it is.
But they don't think there's anything going wrong because they went all the way to China and said, no, nothing going wrong here, no bats in cages, no, not looking at the bat in that cage over there that has been experimented on.
But this fits this fits neatly into the category of organisations that we fund.
Mm-hmm.
So us taxpayers fund things like the World Health Organization, but also because we're so taken over by what Dominic Cummings may or may not reveal about our Prime Minister, really that man should be banged up for his views. It's just unbelievable. Setting that aside, under our noses, English heritage. I thought that English heritage were there to sort out the heritage of England, but no. They're looking at blue plaques, and now they're looking at the blue plaque honouring the creator of the famous Five, is now updated to reflect the author's xenophobia, apparently.
Wasn't she racist as well? She has to be racist
too,
yes,
surely. And then they go on to say that she wasn't actually a very good author as well.
So what's it updated to say? Enid Blyton, author and xenophobic?
I have no idea what it says. But why do these organisations think that it's necessary to use the funds that they get from government? They have huge rafts of people that they clearly overpay to do these reports and these research documents. And then it comes up with this crap. And you have to wonder, why are we allowing this to be funded?
How was Enid Blyton racist?
So,
once upon a time,
I don't think there is any doubt that the view that she took was somewhat old-fashioned when it came to.
Well, she wasn't writing them last week, was she?
Blyton says this particular piece of analysis by Claire Allfrey, and this is in the Telegraph, was undeniably racist. And she's not too hot on class and gender either. But should Blyton's views on race in particular, which in themselves are hard to excuse, diminish her significance as a writer? Because English Heritage go on to say she wasn't a very good writer. But then that rather denigrates, she's a great storyteller. And the thing is that if you grew up on Famous Five or Secret Seven, they were great stories.
Famous Five.
Before Harry Potter, that was the go-to read.
I wanted to be George. She was a bit transgender, actually. George was a bit transgender. She was a tomboy, wasn't she?
I'm not saying anything.
I think she was actually pretty woke. Because George was a bit not quite sure whether she was a boy or a girl, but she was very adventurous and very feisty. But
here, so for example, there's a quote here, Enid's books inhabit a white world, but they electrify a child's imagination. But you have to remember that when she was writing them, it was a much whiter world, certainly in this country. And it's not to say that that's right or wrong. It's just you've got to leave them in the context and the time that they were written.
Of course.
But why do we have to examine everything through the prism and the lens of today and judge yesterday?
Well, I think the reason is it's obvious that English Heritage are going to announce a new children's book and they want to kill the competition, so they're getting rid of anyone that stands in their way.
It's
the famous woke.
The famous woke. The reappraisal comes after Blyton was snubbed for a commemorative 50p coin by the Royal Mint in 2016, owing to her perceived racism and her being a not very well regarded writer.
I thought she was great. I loved her. Famous Five, as I said. Yep. Mallory Towers, that was a good one as well. They had anchovy paste for tea.
Oh, God.
Do you not? It was about a boarding school, and obviously I was at a boarding school, so I could associate with that. There weren't many woke characters in that either. They were all very nice gals.
No, none with any palate either. Anchovy paste.
It was lovely, and they played.
No, anchovy paste is not.
And they played lacrosse as well. I bet you know what lacrosse is, don't you?
I do know what it is, but I don't.
She wasn't. No, they didn't have ball stores then.
No, well, they did have prisons.
Yeah,
I mean, like these poor kids are being fed fish paste and then taken out. I mean, it sounds awful.
No. Fish paste is fine when you compare it, but when you're talking about anchovy paste. Oh no, that's not acceptable. That is a form of child abuse. Anyway, let's move on to another story.
Well, so's reading Enid Blyton, but I mean, I'm sorry, I prefer it to blooming Harry Potter. What's Harry Potter about?
Well, I love Harry Potter. I won't have a word said against JK or indeed Harry Potter.
Well, I will say this. I don't think Harry Potter is believable, right? And it's not the spells or the witchcraft. It's not believable that you would give a teenage boy in a boarding school an invisibility cloak and the first place he goes is the library. That would never, ever happen in real life.
But hang on a second. It's the library. In the same way that he's looking for his collection.
Yeah, we certainly found his wand, I tell you.
Where would you go then, Dave?
I think it
wasn't many films. It wasn't many films before he went to the ladies' loos. Now let's have a look into this story.
Right,
let's do some football.
Let's talk about football because it's coming home, evidently.
Well, after the last performance, it might do.
It very well might do, mind you. Italy, and France. Not sure about this. Any case. Just in case you're not fed up with being lectured by multi-millionaire footballers, Ronaldo. Who's a billionaire. He's got sponsorship coming out of his very neat, taut backside because he flogs swimming trunks as well, so you know that.
Does he?
Yeah,
it flogs everything.
It flogs everything.
Absolutely. The man is a one-man clothes horse influencer rinser.
Yeah, absolutely. In any case, his latest issue, Euros 2020 is sponsored by Coca-Cola.
Yes.
And obviously, and Heineken and various others. And evidently they have the bottles when they're giving the press conferences. Ronaldo, before the Portugal game, saw the Coca-Cola in front of him and took it off and said, agua, like that. Which is water in Portuguese.
Or it could be a spell in Harry Potter.
Or it could be.
It could be.
Any case, more woke virtue signalling. Don't drink Coca-Cola, etc., etc.
But this is a really important point though, which is if I was a sponsor, I would be really cross about that.
Really fed up. Really fed up with it.
Because it is virtue signalling. Because first of all, nobody's asking him to drink it.
No.
And secondly, they are paying his wages. They are paying huge amounts of money for people like him to rinse off and to have that sort of money.
Especially when you consider that a little bit of digging who Ronaldo has promoted in the past include
health gurus such as
Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's.
Oh, delicious!
Yay, kids.
Oh, he's gone up in my estimation.
But wash it down with water.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Do one, Ronaldo.
In his defence, like they didn't.
There is no defence.
Well, they didn't put a bucket of 11, the 11 herbs and spices in front of him. He just moved the bottle. Like,
no, he didn't just move the bottles. He purposely moved the bottles, and then he said, "Drink water."
Come on, you seriously don't want these footballers lecturing you on
I tell you what I tell you who I don't want lecturing me is multi-million-pound MPs that then go off on a jolly in Cornwall, don't wear a single mask, standing side by sides while telling us the serfs in order to go and self-isolate. We're pushing this 4 weeks back. That annoys me.
Dave, we're all in this together, mate.
Well, we're
Oh no, we're not. Actually,
no, of course we're not.
Any case, so I have now been purposely drinking as much Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola. I've got one in my bag. as humanly possible.
Well,
Delicious.
it's a nice link, Dawn, because we are not all in this together, because Jeff Bezos, obviously the man that owns Amazon, is going into space. This is on his new rocket, the New Shepard.
And he's taking his brother and the bloke who bid $28 million.
Yeah.
Wow. To spend time in a very small space for Jeff Bezos.
Well, it's a shared experience you could talk about forever, because I'm sure you'd be invited to a dinner party after that.
Oh, of course.
After dinner speaking. Well, there is a very, it's gone very well. There is a petition that's been circulating asking for Jeff Bezos not to be allowed re-entry.
Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
Well, apparently it's got nearly 10,000 signatures in 1 week. It is doing the rounds on social media, so if you feel strongly about that, I think you could add to that.
Can he just take a few more politicians with him?
Who would you?
How much room have they got?
Well, exactly. How much room have they got? And then, where would it stop? I mean, there are so many people I would like to say goodbye to.
I have to say, I do work here, obviously, but my page one of the day is this: Dominic Cummings' vengeful ranting basically boils down to hopeless bloke said hopeless bloke is hopeless, says hopeless bloke. That sums them all up.
It does, and it's disappointing that the Mirror could only come up with one hopeless.
I know, they're all bloody hopeless.
Here's something that you may like to know. If you've been working in an office, which we have, and you've been coming into an office,
It's so annoying.
plastic screens in offices and pubs probably do not work.
No sugar.
And they may even help the spread of COVID.
No.
A leaked Whitehall document has revealed. Now firms are expected to be told to get rid of the barriers, which can block airflows and so may increase the risk of airborne transmission. I mean, these COVID things are everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And this is tucked away. And this is why we do this show. It's tucked away in here. You go into your place of work, any shop, anywhere, you will see a plastic screen. Businesses up and down the country, because they were told by organisations like the WHO, oh yes, you must put up screens, you must do this, you must do that. They've spent millions and millions and millions of your pounds, my pounds, charging us more. Inflation's going up. We've got less money in our pockets. It's a bit of a nightmare. And now we find out that they don't even work.
But who is surprised? But none of us will need them because we're all working from home. They want us to carry on working from home. So this, the Freedom Day.
Yeah.
Not quite what it says on the tin.
No, you don't say.
No.
I'm shocked.
Unless you're at the G7 in Cornwall, in which case it's fine. However, no, this is home working may be needed after roadmap ends. Say Sage them. The least well-named organisation ever. We are meant to be carrying on social distancing, working from home, wearing masks and complying with the test and trace system. Which bit of freedom will I get in with that exactly? And working from home is the worst thing ever for your mental health. You need camaraderie. You need to joke.
No, working from home is fantastic. But what you need to have, what you need to have, I think, is you need to have flexibility.
In your case, exception possibly, but yeah.
No, you need to have flexibility. So working from home, I think, as part of the mix. So say, for example, I've worked in an office before. When you get to the summertime, particularly for people with families, the weather is nice, and then suddenly people are either bunking off or they're all taking the holidays. I'd much rather have it so that people say, in your contract, you've got 6 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks holiday, and then you've got a week or 2 weeks that you can then work from home as well. If you had that mix in there, I think that's perfect.
Working
and then mostly
from home. Yeah, I'm working from home. Out in the garden, kids.
No. You can tell whether somebody's working or not. Seriously.
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on then. How?
Because their output. Stuff gets done or it doesn't. So I don't care when it gets done.
Yeah. You believe that, do you? Yeah.
Well, I've managed
It's all very well if you've got a nice posh house, like what some of us have, and a beach hut. It's got a beach hut.
Have you got a beach hut?
Of course it's got a beach hut.
It's like a Battenberg cake as well. I mean, it's so...
But I do, it's also this thing as well that people don't have, like, desks, etc. So my girlfriend working from bed, terrible for her back, but she's got no choice, is sitting working underneath the stairs like Harry Potter.
Exactly.
Oh, hand ring, little tiny violins. Bore off.
If you're young and you're living in shared accommodation where you've only got a room, or you're like Dave's girlfriend and you have to stay in bed all day, which is a bit wrong if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, that's all right.
Why is he keeping her in bed all day?
She's handcuffed to the radiator. But I just think that there are different people that have different amounts of financial stability, and you know what? It might be all right for you.
I'm not saying that I agree with Sage. Because
You did sort of say. You did.
No.
You did, yeah.
I'm not agreeing
You
with
did,
Sage that we
actually.
should be doing it for COVID reasons.
Hancock, Whitty, and Max. It's got a ring to it.
And also, it depends what you do. And if you're a zookeeper, I don't want you working from home.
All I'm saying is,
Lorry
I
driving's
do
quite
think
hard.
that some flexibility to work from home is helpful. However, to have Sage telling us that we must work from home is not helpful for anybody.
But on the other hand, the summer death predictions have been downgraded by
good.
Sage.
Excellent, well done.
Well done. Not that they get anything wrong.
Well, someone that couldn't work from home was an ITV reporter who has, he's been told that the matter is going to be dealt with internally. You might have seen this on social media. Someone was behind the camera. They were doing a bit of this, little bit of the Steve Brace. Do you remember Steve Brace? Stop Brexit. However, our ITV presenter completely lost it.
Is that the bloke who stood outside like, stop Brexit? Oh, gee, I mean, I seriously, why didn't
And
anyone
he
take him
wasn't
out?
quite that irritating.
Wasn't he?
No.
Well, this guy, in a 53-second clip, told this person to F off after completely losing his temper after only a couple of minutes. Now, Steve Bray was there for months. I could understand if someone did that. This was on the Broad Street in Birmingham city centre, where ITV Central man Callum Watkinson came and told the bloke to go and find himself a job. And gave him that. I quite like this, that he told him to go and work in Foot Locker. I like the specificity of
Why Foot Locker?
I honestly don't know, but he said go and find a job in Foot Locker or maybe McDonald's. So he's gone from like anchorman to careers advisor.
Yeah, I think he's gone
Emphasis
to
on
a very
anchor,
small man.
Which is also a very
anchorman. Yeah,
very good point.
Very good point. Can I ask you? There is quite a lot of wokery around.
No.
And there's also this article which I think is heading towards a little piece of destruction, because this is today's waste of space. In today's female, which probably I'm not meant to read, sexist.
No, you can. No, we're not gendering anyone or anything here. You can identify.
Do you want to hear about this story? This is unbelievable. This is the latest trend. To make yourself look chic by sporting a designer carrier bag without any luxury goodies. So, this is, goodness, have you been to Bond Street, sighed my neighbour the other day, as she caught me whisking by, clutching an array of designer carrier bags from Lanvin, Cartier, Chloe and Celine. No, the Co-op, I beamed, for my stiffies, those...
Pardon?
Anyway,
Well,
so
that's what she's having.
this article, as written by Hannah Betts, whoever she may be, is all about you go shopping to your local Co-op and you take your designer posh paper terrible shopping bag. It's like, are you that cretiноusly sad that this is what you have to do? I mean, I do the reverse. So I take my Farm Foods bag or my Aldi bag to Marks and Spencer or to Fortnum & Mason. And that's what I do my shopping. These people are so pathetically sad. And if you haven't even been to the shop that you're using the designer bag to go and do your shopping, you are beyond sad. Hannah Betts, this is a terrible article, and for that, you deserve to be destroyed.
At least they're getting some. Another...
What?
Another supermarket, Waitrose.
Bags.
Well, she was shopping for stiffies.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Another supermarket, Waitrose.
Your girlfriend's changing the bed, for God's sake.
Yes. Not really a girlfriend, more of a hostage. But Waitrose is changing its name after dried kaffir lime leaves.
Waitrose is not changing its name.
Sorry, changing the name. You're absolutely right. Sorry, do that again. Waitrose is changing the name of dried kaffir lime leaves after it's received complaints that this is a racial slur.
Oh, wish I get leaves again. Love
In
this.
South Africa. They're changing the name of kaffir lime leaves to Makrut live leaves in response to customer complaints.
Right.
I wonder how many customer
I was
complaints
just
they
going to
got.
say, how many customers have complained? They've been sold for years. I don't even know what you
Years.
do with them.
Oh, you use them in a sort of like a curry?
Well, you would know that.
I
But,
would, because I've cooked with them and they're delicious.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've been using them for years, that name for years, no one's complained, but suddenly it's a bit woke, isn't it? It's woke Waitrose. We're now shouting at leaves.
It's very important, though, because in this... Elsewhere, we've got a guide to being woke. As a firm says, under 35, saying emails are too bossy, from aggressive doorbells to oppressive avocados, Liz Jones has revealed her wacky A to Z of woke.
Avocados.
What's an aggressive avocado?
Aggressive
Come on.
doorbells to oppressive
You
avocados.
outside now.
Right, give me a
chucking
letter.
guacamole.
We can't go through all of these. Dave, give me a letter between A to Z.
I'm going to go T.
T. T is for truth. Good choice.
Thank you.
T is for truth, open brackets, unless it's my truth. Close brackets. There is no truth because it might be in the mind of an old white person who says recollections may vary. There is only my truth because if I feel oppressed, affronted, disinherited, poor, overworked, ill-prepared, ignored, bored or not welcome, then I am. Dawn, a letter from you, please.
I'm going to go for B.
Excellent. B is for breastfeeding.
It would be. I would pick that, wouldn't I?
Exclusionary, as not everyone can be involved. Nursing bras are, as we all know, an overtly sexist garment. As aggressive as a jockstrap, far better to call it chest feeding.
Chest feeding. And you can't be a mum either, can you? You have to be a person what has given birth. Possibly.
Motherhood.
Or a woman.
M is for motherhood. Parent who has given birth, please. Mum's not the word.
What I want to know is what's the shoe picture for? What one is the shoe? Because they've got a very, very sexy, spiky red heel like I've got. What
H is for high heels.
Are they woke?
Forget Carrie Bradshaw, she who only had white friends and plenty of stilettos. High heels are the modern day equivalent of foot binding and history. Well, it all depends who wrote it, doesn't it?
It didn't work with me. I've got size 9 feet.
Blimey.
Well, actually, leading nicely on for that, more than 1 in 4 adults don't want children. And I feel like an increasing amount of people don't want kids.
No, I don't want them.
I don't want anything that's going to financially cripple me, keep me awake at night and embarrass me in public, because I do stand-up comedy for a living. So I've got those bases.
You've got all those bases
covered. But it is interesting that I feel like a lot more, an increasing amount of people don't want kids.
No.
Well,
That's because they don't like you.
Couldn't agree more.
No.
I mean, if you have nephews and nieces, I chat to my nephews and nieces, we get on really well. And then if they're young, you can give them back.
Sorry.
You can give them
Just
back.
saying, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, yeah.
And then also you have a much better relationship because, I mean, children, particularly children being brought up now, they don't like to be told. And we've ended up in a place now where you can't tell somebody off. You can't actually say that they're not very good at something because particularly if they're family, then it means that you're being oppressive. And if there's somebody else and they're of a different heritage, shall we say, than you, then it's because you're racist.
Right. No, I think that's because you were running up to people in the park and telling their kids off. I think that's what.
Yeah,
I often do
slapping
that.
them is wrong. Just you can't slap kids.
Well, it's not so much slapping, it's more smacking.
But you know what?
With a baseball bat.
Yeah, you know what you've got to do with kids these days is write them a letter, because according to the lovely boss of Waitrose, Chairman Dame Sharon Wright, some of the 16 White.
Dame Sharon White.
White. What did I say then?
Right.
White.
Yes.
White, isn't it?
White.
White.
Yes.
I think there's a gas leak in it.
No, that's him talking. In any case, Dame Sharon White has said that the 16-year-olds that the store is employing can neither read nor write nor talk properly, like me, probably. And what are schools doing? What are schools doing?
Wait. I smell some poo here.
Gas.
How did they get employed if they can't read or write? What have they sent in?
She's
It's
What she's saying is they can't read or write properly and they can't add up properly.
No,
well, surely you'd
exactly.
find that out from their CV
Well,
and
you
cover
do.
letter.
You do, but this is the problem. That first of all, spell checkers are used
Fair
all the
point.
time,
Very
and,
good
and the second point is that if you only receive a certain level of responses, and I've seen all sorts of applications which are made, and you can make allowances for the fact that somebody might not, they might be dyslexic, they might have problem spelling or whatever.
Yeah,
but
so
if somebody cannot communicate effectively, and they can't, and every other word is like.
But you have to ask yourself, right, 12 years of education.
What are we teaching people?
What are schools doing? I know they're teaching them how racist Enid Blyton is, how racist statues are, to shout at leaves they may or may not be buying in their local supermarket, and everything is basically racist.
Pythagoras' theorem. Never use that. Why don't you teach kids about tax? Why don't you teach kids about law and about council tax and where that goes and the Constitution? Why do I have to learn that A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Never used it in my life.
No,
what are you doing?
haven't
Get
either.
rid of it.
We used to have books full of that sort of thing. Did you not? Logarithms
I don't know.
and things.
I mean, this isn't a place where you just get out the sort of like the couch to deal with your child.
Right, okay. I was traumatised.
I thought this was a newspaper
I can't
review
talk
show.
proper, but I can at least read, because I loved Enid Blyton.
Can I just talk about resigning, please?
Yeah,
not myself. In your dreams. I'm talking about Dame Cressida Dick. I mean, it couldn't be a better name if you tried.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said last night that she had no intention of resigning as Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police after an independent panel have criticised or described the Met Police as institutionally corrupt. Now, this is kind of interesting because she was involved, and she's been involved in a number of these various different investigations where she's perhaps been a little bit slow in making sure that they give out the information, that they investigate it properly. How many times has somebody got to be picked out and just on the sort of like the edges of something, you know, and in charge of the Met Police when somebody happened to be shot dead incorrectly by the tube station? You know, we've got a lot of situations where really I thought we were consent policing, and consent policing means that you need to have trust and you need to also have belief, if you like, in the system and how it's run. I don't have trust or belief that she is the right person for the job anymore.
No, it's
even if I ever did.
It's a bit like being a politician, isn't it, really? All these people that are supposedly in charge of running our lives smoothly.
Operation Midland,
dicks.
Sarah Everard the Vigil, the youth violence. I mean, the whole range of things, and you just think you should not be in charge anymore.
No.
If I were in that position, and if I was in that job,
vote James.
And I'd done that many things which were wrong.
Yeah.
I would seriously be considering my position.
Let's vote
Campaign
James.
slogan: James to the max.
Yes.
I just
unless it's Pepsi Max, in which case Ronaldo might have a problem.
I'm happy to be sponsored.
It's seamless, this, isn't it?
If you're
seamless.
watching, they can sponsor
By
it.
McDonald's.
Oh, I love McDonald's. I don't even have one of those special cards. What is it? The Black Nando's card?
No, it's a donor card. That's what they give you.
Oh, donor card. I guess they do. Anyway, where would you like to go next?
Where are we up to? I want to. Can I be our Miss Scarlet in the bedroom?
Oh. Go on.
Go on. You can be my Colonel Mustard if you like.
I'm okay, thanks. Tell us about Miss Scarlet in the bedroom.
Get you. Any case, right? And I believe this because it's in the Daily Star. See, I do revert to type. Stop it. 1 in 5 couples say playing board games such as Monopoly and Scrabble.
Oh, I love Monopoly. Best board game ever, and Scrabble.
God almighty, I'm not coming around your house.
No.
And it Monopoly and Scrabble gets them so horny they end up romping halfway through. Now, Monopoly, in my experience, goes on for like centuries.
That's never happened.
So, I mean, it's like...
How excited you get about playing that little dog thing? Like, I mean, that's just weird. There's a reason they're called board games. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, but Monopoly.
Monopoly's fantastic, but there's a reason why this story is in the Star. Nobody will read it. Dave, where would you like to go next?
I'm actually going to go on my... Because I quite like this one. I feel like this is a good news story of why dogs are better than humans, right?
Okay, I love a dog.
Have you heard about Digby the therapy dog?
Yes, I have.
So he stopped someone from jumping off a bridge and taking their life over in Devon and Somerset. Fire rescue teams approached them, and Digby was the saviour of the day. And leading on from my previous story, that's again why I say dogs are better than humans, right? Because I've read numerous articles saying that getting a dog can help boost your mental health, reduce stress.
Which is true.
Never read a single article saying that having a baby can help boost your mental health.
No, I don't think they do.
No.
Stress.
I have to say that the first few months of having a dog are quite stressful.
Yes.
Because they are like babies, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but they do grow up much quicker. And the training, once you've got them trained to come back and to stop defecating on your floor, then you're in.
And dogs are good as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a bit like this is a bit like husbands, isn't it? Right, okay.
So that's all we've got time for. Thanks for watching Between the Sheets. We'll be back very soon with another edition. Meanwhile, my thanks to Dave Chawner and also to Dawn Neesom. Until the next time, thanks for watching.